Hey, Gateway Youth and friends, it's Adam for our Walk Through the Word Wednesday series. We're going to be we're still in the book of James. We're picking up in James chapter 2. We're going to be in verses 14 through 17. It's a really important passage in James. It's often misunderstood, and so I hope we can take a little bit of time to kind of go through this to give you clarity on what James is communicating in this section. So let's hop right into it. So James chapter 2, starting in verse 14. He says, "What good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can that faith save him? If a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, and one of you says to them, 'Go in peace, be warmed and filled,' without giving them the things needed for the body, what good is that? So also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead." So this passage is often utilized to say that you have to be doing things to be saved, or that you have to have works to prove, to be a saved person. That if you're not doing works, you're going to lose your salvation, perhaps. But that's not what is being communicated here. So I'm going to kind of go through passage or verse by verse to kind of help you understand what James is communicating. So in the first section, he says, "What good is it, my brothers, if someone says he has faith?" So James starts off by very clearly indicating that he's not saying that someone does or doesn't have faith. He says he's discussing someone who claims they have faith. So he just says that person over there, they're just claiming. They're like, "Hey, I got faith. I'm religious. I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ." He says, but what good is it if someone will say that, they verbally tell you, "Oh yeah, I'm a Christian," if their life does not reflect that through works? Meaning, you can say, "Oh sure, I'm a Christian, I'm a follower of Jesus," but then there's no works. There's nothing to indicate that you are a Christian. How you live, how you serve others, how you treat others like Jesus would call us to show them worth and dignity. He's saying, what good is it? You said you're a Christian, your life doesn't look like it at all. And then he says, can that faith save him? So he kind of starts this whole section by kind of juxtaposing this idea of someone says they're a Christian, but their life looks a certain way. And then he asks us, can that faith, is that a faith that saves? Is that a saving faith? And then he gives a practical example to help you kind of think through this. And he says, if a brother or sister is poorly clothed and lacking in daily food, meaning like you see someone who has a real need. And then he says in verse 16, if you then say to them, "Go in peace, be warmed," meaning you see someone has a need and you just got some friendly things to say. You're not actually doing anything practical. You're not motivated to sacrificially love and care for that person. You're just saying, "Hey, you know what? Oh boy, it still stinks that things are tough for you, but you know what? I really, hopes and prayers, sending you good thoughts." He says, what good is that? He says, so he's making this comparison. He says, you claim you're a Christian. Does your life look like it? What good is a claim if your life doesn't back it up? Practical example. You see someone in need. He's not saying this is the end all and be all of all Christian living is helping people in need, but he's using this as an example for us to hold on to. He says, so you see someone in need. What good is it just to tell them, "Hey, I hope it works out for you, buddy"? And then he concludes with this. So also faith by itself. What kind of faith is he talking about? It goes back to the beginning. What kind of faith is he referencing? Is a claimed faith. So what good is saying that you have faith, saying you're a Christian, if it does not have works? Because he says, so also faith by itself, if it does not have works, is dead. So the faith that is not reflected in how you live and treat other people and how you follow the Word of God, if your claims and your life aren't congruent, he says that's dead. It's actually not a faith. The context here in the original language would be like, that's not actually a real faith. It's not a faith that saves. It's a dead faith. It can do nothing for you. Because back to verse 14, he says, can a faith that has no representation, that it's actually true, is that a faith that has the power to save? Of course not, because it's a dead faith. Now, here's the clarification that's really important. He does not say your faith became dead because you didn't have works. He says a faith that doesn't have works is dead. It's not a real living faith. And this is an important distinction. You don't want to get the carriage in front of the horse. He isn't saying you had faith and you were really saved, but then you didn't do good things and so you lost it. He's saying the faith I'm describing is not a faith that ever could have saved you in the first place. It was a proclaimed faith that was never proven to be real because your life didn't reflect it. And so it comes right to the heart. That's a conviction for you and I, is are the claims I make about my faith in Jesus Christ reflective in my life? Because if they're not, then I don't really have a faith that saves. I've got nothing. And so I hope that kind of challenges you and helps you understand this passage a little better. But I want that to be a conviction for all of us that if I truly have a living faith, my life will reflect that. And only that living faith given to us through grace, by faith, through Jesus Christ, has the power to save. We'll continue here in chapter 2 next week. I hope you guys are having a great week.